Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Castle in the Stars, The Moon King. Now this book is book 2 of a series of Castle in the Stars. Now it's from firstsecondbooks.com and it's by Alex Alice. Now this book came out in 2018. The French version came out in 2015. Now this book's got 62 pages, all in colour all the way through. You can see it's a fairly sized book. And, well, also there's a lot of blue in this. If you like blue, this book is definitely for you. I love green. I must admit, green is a colour that I really love. So green they would have done even better. However, it's not. It's in blue. All the characters obviously around there and on the back. So 1869. So we've got, instead of 1969, you've got a number of this ether ship's main voyage, Seraphim and the Knights of Ether. They head off into the unknown to the moon. Well, I think there's a lot of intrigue, lots of issues, and I haven't read book 1, so I have no idea what happened in book 1. There's a little brief blurb at the start, the summary of the space race so far, so it's quite useful with all the various players in the book. And you've got, well, actually about the first page, there's hardly any blue at all. However, it's literally blue after that. Not blue. So you've got there all the details, the credits, and then straight into the story. You've also got a king, you've got various very obviously intelligent people who can create all these ships, and there's problems, of course. How strange is that? There's a problem straight away, and they're heading towards the moon. I mean, look at it. Just the artwork is, I'll show even closer, so you can actually see it. I think the artwork is just so beautiful all the way through this. This is such a joy to read as well. Just flows so beautifully. Every panel is just a work of art. Thoroughly enjoyable. And there's lots of panels. You know, this book, even though it's a 60-odd pages, you actually get a book about 200 pages because, I mean, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 panels on a page. You get your money's worth, which is always good. Also, page numbering. Yay! I love page numbering in books. Always helpful to have page numbering. So if I think, you know what, there's some really good artwork on page 20, I can find page 20 without any trouble. However, I also can find blue because there's a lot of blue. Obviously, you're floating off towards the moon, and obviously there's problems. Of course, they can breathe and all that sort of stuff. All very helpful, that. There's no complications in terms of the normal sort of things, but it's still, it's useful that, just for the story purposes, of course, that they can. I wish it was like this in reality. If it had been like exactly, and I love them. There's a lot of humour all the way through this. You've got pretzel floating away in space there. Actually, when I first saw that, I just thought, wow, that's a space station like 2001. That would have been a very interesting start to the film if they'd actually had the, what's his name going up, bone going up, and suddenly it'd been a pretzel floating there. Would have changed the whole approach to that film. However, I love all the gravity there, and there's a lot of interesting sort of analysis of this ether that they're using. However, blue, still lots of blue, but of course they eventually get to the moon. You could say a bit of a spoiler. Well, it is called The Moon King. I don't think I'm spoiling it, and I think even on the back they actually talk about the fact, you know, it's on the moon. So that's where the adventures really start. That's the thing. There's lots of intrigues, problems and things, and the relationships between all the characters. I really think there's some really good characters. There's obviously the stern father. There's the kids, of course, a bit like Lost in Space. The kids are always there, just going off and having their own adventures. Of course, the adults have to be more sensible. Yeah. Oh, there's not a page that hasn't got any blue. Wow. However, there's no complications in terms of atmosphere, so that's not an issue. It's which is good because it does would ruin it. The book where they'd all walk around in spacesuits, and the adventures would be a bit sort of, just beautiful, just really beautiful. The moon, I don't think has looked as wonderful as it looks in here. I think it's just the most glorious. I would have loved this. I loved back of the Princess of Mars and all those sort of books, Edgar Rice Burroughs, all the sort of Moon one, H.G. Wells, that sort of stuff. This just encapsulates it all perfectly. Just absolutely glorious. Love that, the king, all of them characters. The characters are all a joy to read as well. There's not a duff character in there. All are useful characters. Sometimes you get books where you get characters, you think, well, who's that character? But in this, it's just really, really brilliant. And like I said, the panels, just, this is another page here. So you've got another page there. And you've got 1, 2, 3, and I have to keep counting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 panels. I mean, that is really pushing the panel count up. I don't know, maybe I should sit and count however many panels in the whole book. But what an absolute glorious book it is. I say the art just is, these, I don't know if the French version is bigger. Maybe the French version, maybe I should look to see if there's a copy of the French one as well, because I think the artwork in this is beautiful, absolutely superb. This should be massive version as well. This would be absolutely glorious. Loved this artwork. Loved obviously the other book as well. The Mars one was superb. I've also just ordered volume 3. Hope it was volume 3, not volume 2. That would be really bad ordering. I've done that before. Ordered the wrong volume. No, volume 3. I will get volume 1 as well at some point. But it never worries me reading books out of order. I'm used to it. You get comics where you read them out of order. It never worries me too much. This general gist of the story you can work out. It's a great, beautiful, flowing story. Lovely characters, beautiful art. The art is just perfection. Loved it all the way through. And I have to say, totally recommended book. If you want a really brilliant action adventure story on the moon with lots and lots of really weird stuff, I just think this book is just going to be perfect for you. I totally recommend it without a shadow of a doubt.